Okay, many students, they send me a message that my SQL is not working. Many times I told them very simply, you have to start the services because I configure my SQL on my PC that I don't want the service to start automatically because it's just consuming some memories. That's why I configure it on that way to be started manually. So on that case, how to start that service? Very simple. Go to the my computer and then right click on that and click run. Here you can type this one services.msc. This is opening all the services on your computer. Instead of going to the control panel and administrative tool and other things, just simply go with the command prompt services.msc and press OK. So it will load all the services actually. I'm just opening the other PC. So the services are here. So you might think that why I have many services. Very simple. All your services on your PC are configured here. So simply you just click any of them and just type my, and that comes directly to you or MySQL 80. Otherwise, you might, if you have several services with my, it will show you the list of services that's available. Simply right click on that and start, because you can easily see that I make it startup type is a manual. That's why my SQL, when you open and double click, it's taking long time and it's not connected. So the issue is this. So I'm not going to tell you how to install that because it will take long time. So simply I'm telling you, in case if you have this issue, just right click and start and just wait. It's showing the progress of start, and then after it's completed, MySQL 80, the service is running now. So now it's ready to run the MySQL. Okay, so now this is my MySQL workbench. I'm going to start this one. And it's loading here, and then welcome to my SQL workbench. I'm going to click my instance. Usually you can solve multiple instances. So I'm going to create. Now, these are the data that I want to drop this schema just to keep you very clear with what we are doing. Right. This is I just wrote it for my help. It's fine. Okay. So I'm going to stack it here. This is the question paper of us that somebody sent it to me today. So we will try to do this. Okay. So we know that, right? Write a MySQL statement for the following using a MySQL workbench. So this is MySQL workbench, and okay, I don't need this. And then you know that, right? The schemas and other things will be in this area, which is under schema. So if you're in administrative area, just click the schemas and you will see it here. You can see this information once your instance is connected. So if you don't connect it and if your program taking long time and it's not responding properly, you will not see anything. So better to close them and go to the service and start the service and come back. Okay. So this is called query place that you can write your own queries. This is the last example that I give it to them. So now if you need to open a new document, just click MySQL new document. So here it's a simple new file, and then we did not create any database, nothing. There are databases here like employees and my testing databases. I'm going to drop all of them. I don't need that. The employee database, I think I did something for what do you call that, the future career bridge, some example. So just keep it because in case if you want some additional select queries, we can look into that. Right. So now we will go and do step by step. Please, if you have something, just ask me immediately. Don't think that I'm disturbing you, because the reason is I know the things what I'm doing. So I'm just helping you to be very clear with the concept that you know. Right. So simply now we have to make sure that we started a new file and we did not create any databases. We are not into any databases because we are outside now. We are not inside the database. We are outside. Okay. Now the very first thing is create a database called customer mart. So simply, if you don't want to make a mistake, double click this word and copy it. Okay. In case if you don't want to make a mistake. So now I'm going to create a database. Very simple query, right? Create database. Some they say to you, like for example, type it with a capital. It's up to you, but for me, I love typing in simple letters. Okay, create database and the database name, and make sure that when you copy, unnecessary things will not be copied. After this, I will tell you some shortcuts in case if you want to know that. So after the script is completed, you have to end it with the semicolon. Now, what will happen now here? It's going to create a database. Now, simply, okay, this messages, I'm going to clear this messages because we will start from the beginning. Right. So I wrote a query to create a database. This is how we have to create the database. Create database, the database name, and this. Either if you want to select them and highlight it, execute the statement under the keyboard cursor, or execute at the selected portion of the transcript, or everything. So in case if you select something and execute this one, only the selected area will be executed. Or if you just without selecting anything, if you execute, everything will be executed. Otherwise, if you want to execute the query where the cursor is now, that is very simple. So if you keep the cursor and if you execute this option, this is with the cursor. See, the query executions with the cursor mark, this one. That means it will execute only this line, nothing else. This line means this query, because how do you know which, for example, I wrote the query like this. So now this query contains 3 lines. So if we keep it here and execute it, what will happen? It will execute the full statement, not this one only. Okay. But if you highlight and execute, that will be the wrong, because what is the meaning of database? If you highlight only the database, what is the meaning of database? It's nothing, no meaning at all. Now if I say create database and execute, still no meaning at all. So if you want to highlight everything and execute, it's okay. Otherwise, simply click the cursor. That means you know that the statement starting from create database customer mart, that's the one you're going to create. So you can use this one. Or if you don't want to use the mouse and come here and create it, simply you can press Control Enter. So if you press Control Enter, that is equivalent to this option. Execute the statement under the keyboard cursor. So I'm going to press this time Control Enter, because next time I don't want to tell you that I'm using Control Enter. Okay. I'm entering now Control. First of all, I'm clear this again just to make sure that. So I'm going to press Control Enter. Now the message comes, create database customer mark, 1 row affected. So the database is created. Why I cut it into 3 lines? Just to show you that. So actually usually we write it in a 3. So now after you create the database, don't write all your codes blindly. Make sure that you are going with the perfect move. After you do that, execute it and go to the schema and click this refresh button. So when you click the refresh button, then you can see your customer mart database. So that's perfectly all right. Click it here. That's no table, no views, no procedure, no functions. So the first step's done. So you get 5 marks already from that. The second thing, that create the following table with appropriate data type. So they gave you the table here, but the data types are not there. And constraints and populate the tables with the given data. So the constraints, because they are talking about primary keys and foreign keys, and let's say whether you want to accept null or you don't want to accept a null, or you need a default value or a unique constraint, this kind of things. So you have to really think what exactly you want. You have to apply that conditions on this. Okay, so we'll come to that. So they will give you 40 marks. At least if you know how to create the database and then how to create the tables with the proper conditions, everything will be perfect. At least you can get half of the exam papers. So it's a very good thing for you. The second thing, that actually I include the foreign key and the primary key here, but that's not right. The not null, null and default values and unique constraint, those kind of constraints. Here, set up referential integrity links between the above tables based on the primary and the foreign key. Right, we know that, right? For example, there is a table called employee and there is a table called employee salary, for example. So the employee ID on the employee table, it's a primary key, and in the employee ID in the employee salary table, it will be a foreign key. Then only we can connect it. That's why we call it relational data management system. So it's connecting from the foreign key, primary key to the foreign key, or the foreign key to the primary key. There's a connections reference by the primary key and foreign key. So they are telling you that do that also. So if you do 1, 2, 3, you get 40 and 45, 50, 60 marks. So you pass the exam. So this is really a very easy things for me to do, right? So now, after we create the database, what you have to do, Now you created a database, but you did not go inside the database. That is very important. So after you create, you have to go inside the database. That query is use the database name. So I don't want to type the database name. I'm going to copy it here and paste it and put a semicolon. So that means you are telling this query language, use this database. So I'm going to, after that, I'm going to, whatever the query that I'm going to write here, that will be using this database. That is instruction. So I'm giving a simple instruction to the query analyzer program saying that use this database. So hereafter, whenever I do something that is inside the database, like you went until the house, but you did not enter to the house. So we are entering to the house by saying use customer one. So I'm going to press also a control enter, or if you want one time, I'm going to do it also executing by selecting this and I'm executing it. So now use customer mart, zero row affected and is used already. How do you know that you are using a database? The database before, all the databases were light colors. Now this is bolded. That means it is using, you are currently on this database. In case if I want to be on this database, I double click this database. Now you are currently on employees. Okay. So don't simply while you are working, don't come here and double click something else, because it will change the connection to a different database. So always make sure that the bolded database is the database that you are working. Either if you want to change it, go back and execute it again, control enter, and it's changing back to customer one. So this is very important when you are doing in practice. Otherwise, you will be creating everything. After double clicking employee, if you do everything, it will be created an employee. In case if they ask you to submit this database will go to them with the empty state. So you will get 0 marks. So be careful with what we are doing. Okay. So now I created a database. I use the database. Now we will create the tables. Anyhow, we cannot populate any data before we create the database. So we will just work with one table first, then we will populate the data, and then we will go one by one. Or if you want to create all the table at once and populate all of them at once, it's up to you. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to analyze the tables and I want to see that which table I have to create first and which one I have to do it later. Okay. So we read the questions very clearly. Now we go to the customer data. This is the first table. This is the first table with the data, right? So here we have underline. If anyone tell me that, what is the meaning of this underline, please? Help me actually. It is very interesting as well.
ID,
Yes, this is not only
primary.
yes. So if the column is underlined, that means it's a primary key. And the others are, they did not tell anything about it. So we have to make sure that this field will be primary key. So I'm going to create this table, okay? I'm going to copy the name, customer data. It's up to you. If you want to copy it, fine. No issues. So I'm going to copy this one. And now I just give one space line just for me to understand easily. And then I'm going to say create table, and I'm going to put this one. And many people, I notice it, they have a problem with alignment and codings and where to open the open bracket, where to end the end bracket. That's very complicated. So go slowly and steadily. So what I'm going to tell you now, create table customer data and open a bracket now, and please press enter 2 times and press close button and semicolon. So your query is complete. Now what you have to do in between these two brackets, you have to write all your columns. So once you finish all your columns, that is ready. Otherwise, some people, they don't do this, and then they write here and write everything, then say, oh my god, where is this, how can I end it, where to put arrow mark, where to put the close mark. It will be very completed. Go slowly, but be sure that what you are doing. So I'm closing now and put a semicolon. So I'm complete now. Now I have to work only inside. Simple. Right. So I'm going to copy now customer ID. Anyhow, copy of, okay, fine. I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to save this column, customer ID, perfectly. All right, the name comes perfectly. Now, what is the data here? 1001, 1002, 1003 until 1006. And then before you to create, just don't create by looking at one table, just look at the other table as well. Okay, customer ID is here. Is there any customer ID here somewhere else following here? Oh, it's coming here. That means you have to really think, okay, there is a connection between that table to this table. Okay, and any customer ID here? Okay, that's it. So only 4 tables. And the data also here, it's fine. 101, 102, 103, 104, and 105. And in the customer ID also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So definitely there are no other data than this, right? This is 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is the intersect of them. There's no 1007 here, which is not available here. So you know that very clearly now. It's very confirmed that this is a primary key and this is a primary key and this is a foreign key. Okay, you should know about it. Right. So what data type it is? Can anyone tell me what data types it can be?
Primarily int.
Yeah, I can use int. Okay, perfect. I cannot use char type, character type. Can I? Varchar, nvarchar,
Can't.
text type. We can use actually, in this case, we can use anything. There's no problem at all. But int is one of the fastest one than the characters. And also the nature of this one looks like integer, right? For example, if the customer ID comes like C1001, that's the time, of course, you cannot use the integer. So you have to use character type. But here it's a plain integer numbers, or maybe, you know, the limitation of the integers, right? So you have to think about it. So usually this comes in integer because when you go with the where conditions later, it will be very quick. It will give you the data so fastly. So better to go with the integer. Okay, I'm going to create integer. And of course, the primary key cannot be not null. But if you say it's a primary key, automatically it will be creating the table without not null. So if you want to tell to be perfect, I'm saying not null. Okay, and the primary key. So I'm going to say primary key. Done. So the first column is done. The second column, I'm going to use a first name. Okay. So let us copy all the columns. So it's easy for us to, I'm copying all of them. Okay. And pasting it. It's very nice. Everything come down. But every column should be end with comma except the last column. Okay. Now, now you see the other, all of them are actually characters because telephone, I don't want to use integer numbers. Integers cannot be hold here, right? Because it's very big number. And if you use float, what will happen? There will be decimal places. So I don't want to use an integer number or decimal places. Here I'm going to treat it as a character. I mean varchar. So this is name and this and this and this and this. All of them are varchar. So simply I'm going to say varchar and then the name, first name. How many letters you like to give, especially in Sri Lanka? Let's say I'm going to give 100 characters maximum, right? And then the name can be null, it cannot be null, right? So it should be not null. And what else we can give? Nothing. And copy this. Why? Because you don't need to type again. Okay. And paste it here, last name, varchar 100, and I don't want that to be not null as well. And address, definitely everyone should have address in Sri Lanka. But 100 characters is not enough to state the Sri Lankan address. I'm going to use 300 characters. District, I'm going to say see the result here, maximum 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So make it 30 characters. Don't need much to allocate. Right? And telephone, we know that. Telephone contains 2 characters, 4 characters, 6, 8, 10. Oh, okay, so in Sri Lanka it's like 071 1013836, so 10 characters. You don't need, in that case, telephone, if you know that all numbers in Sri Lanka will end up with 10 characters. For example, if I take my landline, uh, 0112658272. Now, if I take my mobile number 0777 and 701979, and I think all of them are 10 characters. In that case, you should use what data type, please? Anyone? You have to use char. That is the best for this. So I'm saying char 10. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between char and varchar? Because in
In
yes,
Vacha, if we specify the number, if if the number is less than සිංහලෙන් කියන්න.
Yeah, again, it's fine. It's okay.
ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මොන හරි ගාණක් ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මෙතන අගයක් දීලා තියෙනවනේ ඒකට වඩා අපි එන්ටර් කරන ගාණ අඩුයි නම් එන්නේ ගාණට ඒක හැදෙනවා. කියන්නේ
Yes. So, okay, it's fine. I understand. If you enter something lesser than 30 characters, for example, in this field, it will say it will just only occupy the data for that area only. But here in the character, if you say 10 and if you enter only one character, it will append with empty characters for the rest of the numbers and it will save 10 characters always. This is the behavior of the character type. So, especially in the phone number, you are entering always 10 digit. Either you enter 10 digit or you don't enter 10 digit. In this case, if you believe that in Sri Lanka, sometimes some of them they don't have a phone number, what you have to do? You have to accept null values, right? So this is the first table that I'm planning. Okay. So now if we execute that, that table will be created. So do you think that anything else that we have to add to this? So what is the formula? Creates table customer data, an open bracket, and see when you click open bracket, immediately it's saying that this bracket is ending here by highlighting and making a yellow colors with a semicolon. And then every column you specify it in single line. Please don't make it like this. Don't make it something like a mess because you will never see later on. You cannot see everything at all. So better every single line should be every column should be in single line. So it's very clean method. You know everything very easily. If some people they do like this. If they want something like that, they do it. But it's not necessary. But it's up to you if you want. You can even align this way.
Excuse me, brother.
Yes. Continue.
There is a problem in my SQL. My
Again,
it not created the database. No.
it's not.
Error code can't create database customer. So like
Why the message? Can you put the message in the text message in the chat so we can help you after this? I will let you know also, or just put the message now. At least I can help you. Right. So now this is creating a table. This is one way of creating a table. Here, the primary key immediately after the column declaration, I'm telling them this is a primary key. Now there is another way to do this. You can copy entirely and I'm telling you also there are many ways actually. So here, without telling the primary key, you just create a column. In the end, you put a comma and say primary key, and I'm putting in a bracket the customer ID. This is also another way. So you just tell the column as usual, everything as it is, like customer ID, regardless of, you don't need to tell which is primary key and which is foreign key, simply tell that. At last, put a comma and say primary key, customer ID. This is also another way. And this is one way and this is other way. So I'm going to create the customer data now this time with this option. The other table we will be using this option. Okay, so you know that both ways. So I'm going to execute it now. Either I'm going to select it here and execute it. It's fine. Create table customer data is created, 0 affected. Okay. Now, how do I know that the table is created? In the schema, it's not showing here because it's not refreshed. So after the table created, the table should be added to the tables area in this place. So just refresh your schema here. Just refresh it. That's it. Now you get one item inside, and that is customer data. You see, when you go to this table here, information table is customer data. Customer ID, they are giving you underline here, which is the underline that they gave it to you in the question mark as well. That means it's a primary key. That's why they int PK. PK means primary key. And the first name, last name, address, district, and telephone. So I'm giving you all the data types to you. So it's perfectly all right. Now, just to be very sure, copy the name of the customer table and then go here and say select star from customer data. I'm going to end it with the semicolon again and select this one and execute it. And I get nothing here because I don't have any data in the customer table. Okay, at least we created the table. Okay. Now let's go to the next table. SQL addition. I do not know how to close the SQL addition. I don't want this to be displayed here. The view panels, hide sidebar, view panels, and hide secondary sidebar or output area. Okay, fine. So view panels and show sidebar. Anyhow, the sidebar is not important for us, but at least to know where we are and what we are doing, it's very, very useful for you. Right. Now let's create a second table. Is it clear, guys? The first table, a new database and use database and creating a table. Is it clear, right?
Exists below.
Yes.
Do we necessarily write not null?
Tell me again.
We necessarily write to not null.
Not null. Which one? The telephone
Not
number?
that, sorry.
Telephone number? Which field, brother? You are talking about the telephone number.
Uh,
Telephone number, I accept null here.
no, first name not null and last name
Oh,
not null. එක අපි අනිවාර්යෙන් ලියන්න ඕනේ. කෝඩ් කරන්න ඕනේ.
මෙහෙමයි තේතින් ඔයා one students ඇවිල්ලා register කරන්න ඕන නම් කියන්නකො customers ඇවිල්ලා register කරන්න ඕන නම මොකද්ද කියලා ඇහුවොත් කියන්න නැතුව හිටියොත් කොහොමද ඔයාගේ details එක register කරන්නේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම first name last name එක
okay.
කියන්න ඕනේ නේද address උත් කියන්න ඕනේ
Okay.
district උත් එහෙමයි ඉතින්
Okay.
මෙහෙමයි ඔයාට කියන්නකෝ ඔයාගේ system එකෙන් ඔයාට address district it's not important කියලා දැන් ඒ වෙලාවට ඔයාට null දාන්න පුළුවන් not null නැතුව but ඒකට වඩා හොඳයි better to put the not null මේකට null දුන්නා මම telephone numbers එක කියන්නකෝ කට්ටියත් some people they don't have a telephone number so in that case I use null okay
Okay.
so now
Okay.
yes
I have put the error in the chat.
yeah, I saw your error, brother. The problem is you are trying to create a database. Database is existing. You created one time already the database, and you are trying to create the database again. So better to refresh the schema. I told you the button here in the left side, and beside
Yeah.
the schema, refresh it. You will find your database. So if you don't want that, just right click on the database and say drop schema. So it will drop your database. Then you can create it again. Okay.
Okay, I try that.
Yeah, sure. That's a message that definitely that will fix your problem. Okay. Now, before we populate, or if you want to populate this data, let's populate it. Let's go step by step. So I'm going to insert a record to this customer table. There are many ways to insert, right? For example, I'm going to say insert into this table. Okay. And then press enter because don't write continuously on that line. And then I say values and then put the bracket and put the bracket again close and then put the semicolon in between this you write your answers. For example, I'm going to copy the end arrow by selecting here until here and copy and paste. Okay, it comes in many lines, it's fine, no issues at all. So first one, we know that customer ID, which is integer. So I should not include this single quote. Okay, it should not include that because it's an integer. Now, after that, put a comma. And Satya is a name. Definitely should put a single quote or a double quote. And then comma again. And Vijay Surya, single quote and comma. And then address should put this one. And then comma. Candy is also this one. And then this one is also a character tag, right? I mean text tag. So now just combine all of them. Sorry, I forgot to put the comma here. And combine all of them into one line. And it's much better. It's very nice for you if you. Yes, yeah. 1 second. After I write this line, I'll ask you. After you put a comma, better to put a space like writing in English or writing in a language. After the comma, better to put a space. So I'm going to. Why? Because it's easy for you and also easy for the eyes to pick. Right. So now this is one way of inserting data. I'm saying insert into customer data and then I'm inserting values. But in this case, you have to be very, very careful that the first data that you are entering for the first column, this is the rule. Even if you think in your mind that, no, I want to put a different column, no, the SQL server will not accept. So the first data that you are entering for the first column, second data for the second column, third data for the third column, so on. So you have to be very careful with your insert command. This is one way of inserting values. Now, if you want to insert multiple values, now I will execute this one. Okay, I'm going to press Control Enter now, and then insert into customer data, and this number of data, one row affected and saved already. So how to make sure that my data is saved there? I'm going to say select star from customer data, and then I'm going to press Control Enter. I get the answers. I get the result from there. Okay.
Excuse me, Sandra.
Yes. Yes.
Can you share the paper?
Yeah. The paper is here, on the right side.
No, as a file. Can you send me?
Yes. Yeah. It's
Because I
actually I
couldn't
got
find.
it. I got it from some of them. I don't know. I think Kalia has sent it to me. Okay. I hope. I'll share it to schedules site. So it's there.
Okay.
I hope that that's the one. Just make sure that this is the right one. Otherwise, let me know that I will drop you. I'll drop it again.
Okay. Question also I have.
Okay. The
Can
question
I ask
is.
now?
Yeah. Question is. Yeah. Yes. Please.
Yeah. I already written telephone as a not null.
Yeah. It's
Then
fine.
how to change as a null?
You
No,
can
I
make
can't
a
able. Yeah.
you can make it alter table and alter column, but the thing is now in case, for example, if you are writing an exam, and better to don't do that, just drop the customer table again and then insert it again, because you have a data already. You can execute it one by one again in the sequence. Okay, so better to drop that. For example, if you make a problem with the customer table, just right click and drop table. Very simple. For the meantime, but later on, if you have a column called alter table, and then you can alter column as well. Better don't confuse yourself, because you have a script with you. You can just run. All of them will be run and do it for you instantly. I'll show you later how you will run it. Okay. And Yachika, you asked me. You thought to ask something, right? Can you ask now?
No, brother, I asked to send the paper.
The paper.
That's why
Okay.
I
The
have.
paper is already in the
Yeah.
group. Right. So
Okay.
now I'm
Thank you,
going
brother.
to, yeah, it's okay. I'm going to copy the second data also. I'm copying it here. And again, you have to say values and open bracket and close bracket. And in this case, you cannot put semicolon there. You have to put comma and then paste it here inside. Again, the same thing that you have to do. I don't know, this option is available. I'm going to press Alt and then no, it's not available here. Press Alt and highlights. Okay, I'm doing in a different way, but it's not available. Then you can put comma and then copy this and paste it. Because you have to find the easiest way to do your work. You can save your time. Comma and then space delete and then put semicolon. Okay, so that is the issue here. I think maybe this. So when you insert, you don't need to specify values multiple times, only one time. So I'm going to, but the problem is this data is already inserted, right? You remember that when we execute this line, we have a data already here. So if you try to insert again, the primary key will give you a trouble, right? Because primary key means there should be no duplicate data. So in case if you face something like this while your exam, what you have to do, what you can do simply, you can delete your data first. Write a condition here before we insert, deletes from this table. Okay. Why? Sometimes when you're trying that you put the data and then now you don't know how to insert the second one, right? So I'm going to delete my data first. So I'm going to execute this. Delete from customer data error. You are using the save update. Okay. Here, because the without condition they are not allowing, because the IDE is blocking me. So what I have to do, I have to put delete from customer data, where cust ID is equal to 1001. That means you are safely deleting only one record. So I'm selecting this one and executing it. So I deleted the row. Okay, one row is affected. So now we don't need this line anymore. So better don't delete it. Just comment it. I don't know how to comment it here. Wait. How to comment this line here? Anyone knows? MySQL, because in SQL Server we use these two lines. Okay, fine. These two lines still. So it's commented line. This line is commented. Don't delete any codes that you write. Keep it for you, because in case if you want to delete one more data, you can use it. Don't need to write it again. So now I delete it and I'm checking my record again, whether I have a data, and I don't have anything. Now I'm going to execute two data in once. I'm going to press enter now, and two rows are affected. Record 2. So how to make sure that those two rows are inserted? Just execute this line, and you will find two records. Perfectly all right. Okay. So now I want to delete this two row. How can I delete it? Can anyone tell me a query? At least I'm happy that someone can answer something. So can I issue 2 times like this? Is it okay? I'm going to say 101 and then 102. Is it okay? I'm going to execute these 2 lines. Delete it. Now I'm executing this one. No more. Right? I'm deleting one by one. So 2 statement I'm deleting it. Or if I don't want to do that way, I can delete something like this, where customer ID equal to 1001 or customer ID equal to 1002. This is also a valid method. So we are telling that ID is equal to 1001 or 1002, delete it. Okay, first method is this, which is without or condition. There is another method also. You can say where customer ID in, you can say 1001 comma 1002. This is also another method. So any method which is fitting for you, we go with that. There's no right and there's no wrong. Everything is right. And if you write the query wrong way, that's only the wrong. So these 3 methods are available for you to delete it. Either if you want to delete single record, or if you want to delete multiple records with the OR conditions, or here, because if you, let's say if you want to delete 10 numbers, it's very difficult to put or customer ID. It's too lengthy. In that case, this deleting query will help you. So now I don't need any of this for the meantime, so I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to comment all of them as a bulk comment. I'm blocking all of them, so it's like a blue color. It's not going to work when I execute it. But if you select and execute, it will work. But when you execute all the script at once, this area will be skipped. So you should remember that. Right. So now we will do for the rest of the things here. I'm going to copy all of them. It's easy for you. No need to type. If you type, you will spend all your time. And I don't want to paste it here. Why? Because you might make a complication. So better to create one more SQL file and paste it here. It's very clear now, right? So you know that the numbers are breaking here, right? Just go and break that numbers first to be very clear. Okay, that's all the strong. And I always recommending you to use Notepad++ if you can use, much better. Why? I will tell you the reason. Just copy all of them. Okay, go to the Notepad++ and create a new file and paste it here. Okay. Why I am pasting here? Because in every end of this column, I have to put a comma, right? It's very difficult to put comma one by one. So just keep all of them together. So now I'm going to click here and press Alt, hold the Alt key and press here and drag until this area, for example, until the last data, for example. Or anything is fine, it's up to you. And put a comma. So you type the comma from beginning to the end. Now you want to put a colon. Let's say first one we will erase later. So I'm going to put a colon here. I put all of them at one time and press the colon here. Okay. Now for the numbers, you know that there will be no columns. I'm erasing, and only 2 erase, 3 erase, and 4 times erase. The end you can put it, but I still recommend you to put one by one, because otherwise it will create empty space in the names. Just put colon here. For this one, no columns. You got it? So at least it's easy for you to generate your code in one time. And you have to make sure after that, and make sure that this ending semicolon, I'm single quote, uh, it's after immediately the last letters. Okay, here I don't need the comma, and I don't need the comma, and I don't need the comma. That's it. Simply copy it. Or in case if we want to be straight line, also you can make it, but in this case you need to remove the space. Double click and erase. I always use this technique, but if you won't use it, or if you feel that no, I'll be complicating myself, don't use that. Right. So now I know that very simply space delete and space delete and space delete like this. This is finished already. So you know that bracket and press enter, open a bracket and open a bracket here, and then comma delete for the space. Enter here again. This one, comma space. Bracket. Perfect. So we have to put a comma after this and this and this and this. This is not it. That's the last one actually. So I copy all of them and I come to this place, and I don't need this now. Okay, save. And then come here and leave the semicolon at last. Put a comma, go to the next line, paste. That's it. So now there's a small bug on typing here because I put one additional symbol. So just erase that. So make sure that your text value should be something like this identically and perfectly. Looks nice. Fine. So better to save your script as well, because in case power failure or something goes, you lose everything. So better in certain way that better to save your script. Save it and put a name, for example, my SQL test or lab 4, for example. Save. So you are very sure that, see, the name my SQL test lab 4 is saved. Time to time, better to save it, because you know that, right? In Sri Lanka, power failures occurs, so you lose everything. Right. So I'm going to insert all this record once. I'm going to press Control Enter, and it's inserted. 6 rows affected. Now I'm going to my table and I'm pressing Control Enter. I see all the 6 records that I created. Okay. Is there any issues here, guys? It's fine, right? Okay. So first steps, we created it, fine. Everything is cool. Okay. Now, instead of making it long and lengthy lines, if you want, you can continue with this one, or if you don't want, you can make a new file and do your work. Yeah, so I'm going to start it here. So creating table and deleting record, I need it because in case if I want to delete all of them, I'm going to delete all of them. For example, you see in this delete command, if I want to delete 1003 and 1004 and 1005 and 1006. So in case if you want to delete all of them, I can delete. I deleted it. The customer table already exists. What is this? Create table. No, so it's trying to execute this line. Select it and execute this. So it's deleted all the 6 rows. When I go and see all the 6 rows here, nothing is here. So if I want to insert, I can just simply press Control Enter, and everything will be created. The records will be inserted and the data are here. Okay, so this is the first table we completed already. And just imagine that this is none of your requests. In the exam paper, they did not tell you to write a query, right? So in that case, very simply put a double quote and press space. Why? This is helping you to verify your data whether you are entered properly. So keep it with you and don't delete it until you satisfy everything is perfectly all right. And that's the time you will delete all the temporary things that you created here. Now let's go to the second table. The item data, item number, description, available quantity, and cost. So here it will give you a small trouble here. It's not trouble actually. Okay, so I'm going to create a table. I'm going to go fast now, right? So create table and the table name, right? And then open bracket and enter it and go immediately and then close bracket and semicolon. This is what always I want you to follow. Now, item number, which is integer and then not null. Now, comma, and of course we know that item number is a primary key. As I told you, in this table I created by using this method, which I say primary key instantly here, but now I'm going to use the other method, so we will see which is better, so we can see all the methods that are available, right? So I'm going to say also item number is which is integer and not null, and I'm going to create this one description, which is varchar, and I say 100 characters. It doesn't matter, you don't need to count actually in varchar because it's up to you, it's fine, you can put 100, 50, 100 is okay. And then description of an item, definitely it cannot be not null as well. The second thing is available quantity. So since they give you it's too big actually for the column name, but anyhow we will find it. By the way, you see that the description here, it's showing you as a blue color. So we will see what error is going to give it to us. Okay, available quantity. Available quantity, usually here they put an integer numbers. Usually, sometimes, for example, if you want to calculate sugars, you can say 45.5 kg as available. But since it's whole numbers, you can imagine that maybe, see, wheat flour is 24 kg. So if you feel that, because as I told you, nothing is right or wrong, it depends on your system. So if you think that is only whole numbers, always I sell 1 kg and I don't sell 100 grams, that's perfectly all right. You can put integer and not null. And you can also use a default 0. Why I use default 0? Because in case, of course, it's not null. And if they don't want to enter something to this column, the 0 will be placed there. It's one of the best way to say a columns that it's a default is 0. Okay, it's not null, but default will be 0. And the second is a cost rupees. So you don't need to create exactly the same name with the cost rupees. I hope that they will be not expecting you to create something like this. So simply you can call it cost. Cost, and then cost is also here, but normally cost is a float because sometimes it can be 25.50 cents, right? So I'm going to say float, and also it's not null, and then default it should be 0. Now, in this case here, you forget to put the primary key, right? We told you that we will not use the primary key on this one, on that case, but you have to say simply primary key and the open bracket and close bracket and put the column name here, item number. There is a reason I create this way, because when there is a composite key or two columns come as a primary key, on that time, this method cannot help you. If there's two columns comes together as a primary key, you cannot create a primary key here. So in this method, you can say, for example, if two columns, like for example, item number and description become a primary key together, in that case, you can simply say like this. So now you are creating a primary key, which is combination of these two columns. That's why I tell you, because maybe we'll be needing it later. So for the meantime, now this is wrong. So, okay. Now I have to save it again because I did not save it. I save it. Fine. I'm going to execute this table also. What do you think? The table, the way I create this table is okay. Item number, integer, and not null, and the primary key I specified at last, and description, available quantity, and cost. Okay. I'm going to execute it now. Executing it, and create table item data. It's created already. Okay. How to make sure that my table is created? Very simply, I'm going to use the select query. Select star from item data and semicolon, press enter. I don't have any data. Okay, so now we will be doing the same thing with the item data. So I'm going to copy all of them at once. I don't need to tell you one by one, simply. But this time I'm going to tell you a different way, if you like, by specifying a column name before we insert. This is here, you are not telling the column name, you are just entering the data according to the column order, right? I told you first data will be going to the first column, second data will be going to the second column. In this case now, this time we are going to do it in a different way. So now I'm going to paste the data first without blindly. I'm going to paste it here, or you create another file and paste it here. Okay, and then you know that the number is integer, so I'm not going to put anything there. I'm going to put a comma, and here better to put this and comma and copy this. Easy for you. Go down and paste. And then what is this KRCTM? What this is? From where I get this? Okay, maybe that is something when we copy it, maybe it's a footer or something. So just erase it. Be careful when you copy it. For this one, it won't come. This and this and this. This one don't come, and this one no. And this, and here I'm going to put this. Okay, put it now for all, and we can change it later. It's up to you, whatever the way you feel it's good for you. Okay, so now I break it. Right. The second thing, opening a bracket, comma, and this, and this, and this. That. Close again. So we comma again, here. It's okay, right? What I'm doing? Just let me know if there is some issues that you feel here. Okay, that's okay. And I'm copying this or cutting this. I don't need it here, and then paste it. So let's insert. So insert into, what's the table name? Item data. And then now it's much better. This is another way of doing it. But if you feel difficulty, don't do that. Otherwise, do it in this way. So I'm going to tell that item number, column name here, item number, description, available quantity, and then comma cost. Here, what is the good thing with this? And then values. Now I'm specifying now values. This is the thing. In this previous insert command, I did not tell anything, something like that. Here I'm telling that insert into item data, item number, description, available quantity, and cost. In this case, if you specify the column name, your first data will go to this column. It's not necessary to be the order in the table. Let's say I want to put the description first, we can put it, no problem with that. So we can put the description first. In that case, what you have to do, you have to move the descriptor to the first, and the number should be second. So in this case, I'm not going to do that now, but I'm just showing you this is another way of inserting data by specifying a column name. Okay, I'm telling that the first data what I am entering will go to the item number, the second data what I'm entering will go to the description, and it will continue the same thing. So right, see, this is the biggest mistake I did here. And for the quantity and the cost, I put a single quote. It's wrong actually, because it's a integer and float, so you cannot put that. Okay, so better to remove it. I think my SQL might accept this, but anyhow, we have to stick with the standard way. Okay, see, this is because I was hurried to do it, and then I forget that I have an integer field and float field. So only for the characters you have to put that. Okay, done. Anyhow, save it again once you modify it, because don't lose it. So I'm going to insert this record as well. I'm going to press Ctrl Enter and it's inserted. 5 rows are inserted. How to make sure that it's inserted? Just go and select star from item data and execute that, and you get all the. Kala, yes, I'm going to finish it until the question paper ends. That's it. So now we inserted two tables. One is what do you call that? The first is the customer. Second is everything is here. Make sure that your data is identical to the data that we copy. Because last time when I copied, I found some text comes from I have no idea from where. So make sure that you are inserting properly. And for the integers and floats, that you should not wrap it with a single quote. And then ID is integer, so it's perfectly all right. Let's do one thing, right? We know that there's a primary key here. How to make sure that the primary key is here? I'm going to refresh my schema here. Then I have two tables, which is customer data and item data. Go to the item data, and when you click that, it's automatically showing you in the side int pk. So it's a primary key. What's the function of the primary key? It will not allow you to enter a duplicate value, right? So now I'm going to insert this data again. Sometime when you make a mistake, oh my god, I make a mistake. Can I insert it again? Then you are trying. You are selecting all of this one and executing it. Now you get an error message. Insert into item data, number and all the details and duplicate entry. That means the data is there. So you have to make sure that in case if you want to enter something, you have to delete your data first and then enter it. But this is while in the learning process, in the production environment. Be careful when you are deleting records. So I'm just telling you that don't think that why is not inserting, don't be like a fool at the last moment. Why is not inserting? I don't know how to insert it. No, it's already inserted. Please try to understand the message and translate the message. Duplicate entry 1101 key, so it's giving you first character that is duplicating, so it will not run for the remaining thing. Okay, now we go to the third table, order ID, order date, and customer ID. So we finish that. In the select statement, I don't need it, and put double line and then press space and save it again to make sure that. So we created a database here, and we use the database, and we created the table, and then we insert the record there, and then we create the second table, and then we insert the record, and we also specify the primary key ID. Now the third one is the issue for us. Here you should notice something. Third table contains 3 columns actually. Order ID, that will be the primary key, everyone knows that because it's underlined, and the second date is order date, so it's related order details. The third one is a customer ID. This customer ID should come from the customer table in the top. Understand? So this should be a foreign key. You should be very careful with that, otherwise you will lose your marks. So this customer ID is coming from the customer table. That's a foreign key. So I'm going to copy all of them now. I'm going to create this table and say create table. Okay, there are typing typo errors. Just orders. And as I always tell you, open bracket and enter and close bracket and semicolon and come here. Paste your thing that you copy now. Order ID as usual integer, not null. And order date. This should be if you want to save only the date, and so it says simply date field. Okay, and if you want the date and the time, don't always expect that they may give you only the date, because here it's showing you only date. So don't use date and time. Sorry, don't use date and time, because date and time will save with the time. So here is date. So in maybe in the next exam, maybe on Saturday or other days, sometimes they'll give you the data. They will not tell you exactly what field you have to use. They will give you with 785, or is it 7:45 and 56 seconds. On that case, you have to use date and time. Okay, so now date, and then again not null. And in case if you want a default value for the date, let's say he's making an order, and default I think get date, I do not know, maybe today. I don't know how to write it in my SQL, because my SQL server we are using something like get date. So this is a function that will take the current date and insert it there. But here I have no idea actually how to do that. Let's do a small search. How to get default value for date field in my SQL. So default value for the MySQL is okay, current timestamp. So maybe they will be looking this to you, right? The date time default is okay. There are answers saying that they are fixing the time here, but that's not the right way. So let us try the current timestamp. I think I remember that last time we learned it. So I'm going to put current timestamp. So it seems to be a blue color and highlighted. That means it will work. Let's see. Now the customer ID, and also you have to be very careful instead of not only a foreign key, right? The customer ID, you know that this ID come from the customer table, which is customer ID. What I'm doing now? What happened now? Okay, maybe it's okay. It's collapsed this customer ID, and then better if you want use the same ID, or if you want, or if you don't want to use the same letters like capital I and capital D here, capital I and simple D. So it's up to you to use that, but very carefully with that. It doesn't matter the name, even you can call it XXX, but the data type should be exactly the same data type that you use it in the primary key table. This key in this table you use integer, so this should be integer. No alternate way for that at all. You cannot use character, you cannot use float, what's this, float, decimal, no, nothing. It should be exactly the same. This is the place that I'm going to check you whether you are using the same data type. Okay, and then not null. I'm just using not null because if you make it as a foreign key, it will not accept null anymore, but still I'm going to use a not null, and then I don't need to put the default value for the customer ID, and I cannot put the default value because if I want to put any value for the customer ID, it should be existing in the customer table, otherwise you cannot insert that. That's a foreign key constraint. Now I did not tell the primary key here, so I'm going to tell the primary key, which is order ID. Okay, I'm going to copy this order ID. So I finished the primary key business now. Now I have to come and do the foreign key business. So for REI, okay, perfectly, it's giving me foreign key is what? Customer ID.
Do you want the copy?
Yes. Foreign key is this key. Is it? Foreign key is this key, and references. Why? Because the table command that doesn't know. Okay, you are telling that the customer ID is a foreign key, but where is the primary key? You are linking to what table, right? So references. I'm referencing what table? Just go up. I'm referencing this table, customer data table, and put the column name. The column name, the customer data table will be customer. That's all, nothing else. I hope that this is how they create this. I believe actually, and I don't memorize the code here. So because usually this is the first learning step, right? You are doing everything on this side, but other time when you work as a programmer, they have a lot of tools for you, external tools that will create you. For example, if you work with the C# or VB.NET, there are something called entity framework. They will be doing that for you. So you'll be creating something front end way, and then there is a way to migrate to SQL query, and it will be executed. So at least it's very important for you to learn what is happening in the behind the scene. That's very important. Okay, so now I created a primary key, which is, we know that since before. That's why I prefer this method, this way of saying primary key and foreign key, than this method. This method is very simple. Everyone knows that, not null and primary key. But this is the place is very nice because you can tell all the primary key, not only one column as a primary key, even if you want to put multiple column as a primary key, this is the only place that you can put it. Okay, and then foreign key. So let's order table. We will be creating this table now. I'm going to press enter, press Ctrl enter. I have a problem with that. Invalid default value for the order. See, always when you get error, don't be panic. Invalid default value for the order detail, they call it current timestamp, is not accepted actually. Maybe I don't know. It's a function. I have no idea about it. But let's try to execute. No, it's wrong. Or it's not accepted. Or let's say a timestamp. Okay, default timestamp. There is something wrong with this. Anyone has an idea on this timestamp? No. Okay. No. So when I put, I remember that last time they used timestamp, but I have no idea actually. In that case, don't don't spend your time to run after this, because out of 60 marks, this may be 1 mark. Forget about this. Even me, I don't know, and we have no time. Time is running out before 6 o'clock. We have to finish this lessons. So I'm just removing it, but just search for it, and then if you can put some default value for that, do it. Okay, I'm going to save my query because I don't want to lose it because of the power failures. I'm going to press Ctrl Enter now, and the table is created now. And to be sure, again, I'm going to use select star from. Don't think that this select star from that I'm writing is nonsense, and why I know that very clearly. It's better to write because it doesn't cost you even 10 seconds to do that. Better to do it and make sure that every step that you are keeping forward, it's. Can you upload the recording, please? Yes, brother, I will upload it. I'm recording actually. I hope that the voice is enabled. Yes, it's enabled. Okay, select star from orders. I'm going to execute this, and the table is created. There's no data. So now we will be doing the same thing as usual here. Right, we did a big mistake here, by the way, guys. You see that? Nobody even tell me that what's going on. See, the order ID is 01. So it's not actually integer, right? Because integer is always a number. It doesn't accept 0 on the front. See, by looking at this, you have to be very careful what you are doing, right? This is wrong. So in this case, I'm going to use varchar. So what I can do now, I did the mistake, right? Now I do not know how to, let's say there are alter commands and alter tables and everything. So I do not know. So simple thing, keep it as it is. Go and refresh your schema and go and see which table exactly orders, right click and drop the table. Drop it and drop now. It's gone. Now I'm going to modify the order ID, not integer. I'm going to make it varchar. Or even you can make it char, but don't limit yourself. If you choose char and 2 characters, so you can make until 99, and after 100 it will be failed. So I'm going to choose varchar. Let's say I'm going to give 20 digits. It's okay. I'm going to make it dot null, and that will be a primary key, everything as it is. Now I'm going to save it again and then execute it. See, it's giving executed, because if you try to execute one more time, what will happen now? It's giving a error. The order already exists. So always read your message and be clear that what you are doing. Okay, I created. Now select star from orders. I'm running it again. Find it. Okay. Now I'm going to insert the record. So copy simply and go to the next query. This is a temporary place that we are working on. It's like a working place. Now we need a single quote everywhere except the customer ID. So I'm doing 3 exams. Okay, no problem. Okay. So now this one with comma.
Hello,
Yes.
Arsan brother.
Yes, bro.
When I try to copy data from the PDF file to SQL, it's come 3 columns now. It's not comes 1 column. How do you get that?
Where?
It's data.
It comes as one. Anyhow, it's okay. I just copied. I don't know. I just click inside the data and then drag it. Just drag it, and then that's it. That's all. Nothing else. I'm just copying in front of you. We will see. Anyhow, that's not a thing. That thing is how to construct this, right? I mean, the query is another thing. That's very simple. You can just learn it by yourself. Okay, so now we have to wrap it with open brackets and close and come. So I always copy like this. Paste, 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 and paste. And that last one will be semicolon and then copy. Okay. I copy this now. Copy it. Come back. So this time we will be using a simple command, right? Insert into orders, and then I don't want to specify the column names. I'm going to say values, and then press and paste it and send it. So it's done. Right? What's the issue now here? Yeah, because the issue here, the insert is highlighted in red because the previous command I did not put chemical. So that's perfectly all. I save it now. I'm going to execute this. Execute and then error. Incorrect code 11. Something wrong with the code here. What's wrong with this? Any idea? So orders 1, 2, 3 columns, right? The error message is incorrect date. There are some problem with the date format. Okay. I forget something to tell you also. In MySQL, the date format should be year first and month second and the date in the last. So you have to flip your insert entry. Okay. So I'm going to copy all of this again, and I'm going to go back to this place because on the other place it's very difficult to do it. I am going to crop this. With this, the date should be in the last. So I'm going to cut it, come here, and put a dash and paste. And now I'm going to do one more thing here. Cut this, and that's a month. So alter and highlight all of this and paste. Now I don't need this dash here. So I flip it already. Okay. This is, I don't know, you can, if you want to do it by yourself, do it here. Or if you know how to use the Notepad++, I just reverse it. So it's like this: 2020 December 11, 2020 December 11, December 30, February 1, and May 3, and May 5, and 6/14. So it's perfectly all right. Now I'm going to insert that. Press enter. It's inserted. 6 rows affected. So how to make sure that? I'm just going to say select start from orders and execute this because time is hurry. That's why I'm just hurrying it, because this is the same thing that we are repeating again and again. So we inserted all the records. It's perfectly all right. Okay. Now let's go to the fourth table. Anyhow, see the time now. I'm talking and I'm doing it without facing any errors, any errors and other things. I did not stuck myself, but still the time is 5:33. We started exactly around 4:30, so it took 1 hour to create these 4 tables and insert the record. Okay, so be careful with that. Don't spend your time for nothing. Something, if you get like default value is giving a problem, just erase the default value and continue. Try to get a solid marks, at least 60. Then if you have a time, go and do enhancement one by one. Right. So I'm going to create the last table, which is order item data. And here, as a very big trick here, order ID and item number comes as a foreign key actually. Because why I'm saying foreign key, because if it is highlighted, that's a primary key, right? Either you can make it as a primary key or a foreign key, but we know that order ID should come from the order ID table, and item number should come from the item data table. So it should be both should be foreign keys. Okay, so let us work on this now. So I'm going to copy this order data table, create table order data table, and then open bracket as usually I say, and put a semicolon here, and the columns here. I'm going to copy the columns, click inside, and then undo that, copy it, and paste it. Now, when you want to say foreign key, brothers, be careful with that. Order ID, you should go and search the order ID that you create and what table it's at. It's an order table, order ID. So you create it as a varchar. Don't forget that. Copy or copy the data type. Come here down, order ID and this. An item number, you should go back again and search the item number, which is integer. So I'm going to copy this. Go down and paste the item number here. And quantity ordered. So seems to be integers, all of them. So I'm going to put integer, not null, and then default is 0. Okay. Now come back to this the main
I thought you have a class.
I have a class. Right. So now the main thing is now how to do this, right? I usually prefer in any tables to have a primary key regardless of whether you need it or not. So I normally recommend to put something like you can say auto number and integer and not null, and which will be primary key. Okay, but I don't know whether in OS they will accept it or not. But this is my standard practice. I keep one primary key for each and every table, and the foreign key, of course, as usual. So if you want to follow that method, follow it. But even me, I'm not going to do it in my exam because I need my concern is the marks. I don't care about the theory or common practical practice or anything. So I'm going to raise this. Now we have to say the foreign key. So foreign key, and then now in the foreign key you have to tell what are the columns involved in the foreign key, and this order ID, comma, item number. These two will be a foreign key. And now when we wrote it here, I even references. I think we have to references. Let me try this way because I'm not really a fan of doing this way. So order ID comes from the orders. So references orders. Order I better to copy the column. This is one reference, and then maybe with a comma. I have no idea actually. I will try also. So from the item data, the item number. Item number, I have it item data, item number. Maybe item data, item underscore. No, I don't know really. This is the right way of doing it, but I guess it will work. So there's error here actually. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. So let's try adding this foreign key in a two line, like first time order ID, and without this comma. The second is item number, because I never add this type of adding. Now let us see whether it's allowed. It seems to be all right because now it's not pointing any errors. But I do not know really two lines for adding foreign keys, because one order ID which is referencing the orders with the order ID, and the item number referencing the item data table with the item number. It seems to be looks correct, but let me save it. I'm going to execute it. I'm selecting this and executing that, and it's executed. Great. So let's see that whether what we did is right or wrong. Refresh the schema, and then what we did now is order item data, which is here, and then when I click it, order ID and item data, but it's not showing any foreign key details here. Just go inside, and then foreign keys. Great. So we have a foreign key here, which is both of them are foreign keys. Or item data, yeah, we cannot see it exactly. There are two foreign keys actually. If you maybe double click that, I do not know how to see exactly here because I'm not. I did not work in MySQL much. So anyhow, we created the two foreign key, and those two are created. Now let us insert this records. I hope very few records are there. Okay. So now I'm inserting a record. How to do that? What happened here? So I'm copying this table now, right? Insert into this table, and then values, and then we have to put the value there. So I'm going to copy all of them. And order ID, that's a varchar, so you have to wrap the single quote, and the item number, which is integer, you should not do that. And the quantity is also integer, so you should not wrap it with a single quote. Go back here now and select all of them and paste it here. Get a lot of data. Only this. So if they give this as a question in exam, That's because we did it already. I hope. Don't tell me, I'm telling you, I'm feeding this kind of poison to you. Don't make it trouble for me. I need this certificate, very important, because I don't like to stay here in this country anymore. I want to migrate. So this is the only way to. Yeah, guys, see, you're not helping me actually, right? Until I type, you're just always looking. Okay, what to do? This number, the middle number, item number, is an integer type. So I'm wrapping with a single quote, but you're not helping me to. Now I have to do this again. Okay, I'm going to do it in this. I'm lazy to do it there. I'm going to remove this slide. So I click here and press Alt, hold the key, and just highlight this and erase. So just erase everything. The same thing, you do it here and erase it. Now here we want to put open bracket here, open brackets, and this one, and bracket here, and done. Okay, copy it. Go back here and then paste. And that's good. I'm saving it again now. Make sure that every step that you're doing, you're saving. I'm going to press enter. It's insert 8 rows affected, records 8 duplicated. Perfectly, all right. And where is our select conditions? We did not put any select query here. Okay, let's do it. Select star from order item data. Okay, and semicolon, and save it, and now select it here, and then execute. So these are the data that we inserted. Okay, the data are identical. Okay, so far we did it now. We work for how many points? 45 and 5, 50, 40 and 5, 45, 50, 60 marks. You got 60 marks already. So what is next? Okay, now other 30 marks, and then a Viva questions for you, 10 marks. So let's work for the 30 marks. All right, this is something crazy already. Now, before we go to this, anyhow, we can spend until 6:30 if you like. So before we go to these questions, I'm going to ask you something maybe that might help you during your Viva. Okay. Now we know that. Let's go to one more SQL here. I'm going to say select star from customer data. Okay. And then select star from what is that? Item data. I hope that will show it to me. Select star from orders, and then select star from order. Come on, why is not showing to me? Order item data. So we have 4 tables, and I'm going to execute all of them actually, and it's giving me all the accounts. Where's the rest of them? Okay, maybe 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tabs. So it's very clear, right? Now, can anyone tell me that? Can I delete the data of all the customers, or at least one customer? There are customers, right? Customer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and orders item data. The customer, what's system here? Orders. There are customers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They did some orders here, and some they did not do that, right? We know that, like for example, customer number 6 and 7. Customer number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the customers, and orders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this the customer number 6, he did not do any orders, right? Now, can I delete customer number 1 from the customer table? Can you answer me? So I'm going to write a query here to delete. Delete from customer data where cust ID is equal to 1001. Can I do that?
Can't.
Yeah, we cannot because it's a foreign key reference. Order is using customer ID as a foreign key, and that customer has an order. So you cannot erase that customer from the customer data. So I'm going to try to delete it. And it's giving an error message, cannot delete or update a parent row, a foreign key constraint fails. So you cannot erase anything. So they might ask you, can I delete the customers? You cannot delete it because the foreign key is referencing it. And the foreign key table has a valid data for this customer. Now, if I make another customer which is 1006 who doesn't have orders, yeah, I think I got disconnected actually. Right. So now, if we want to delete a customer, see, I'm going to comment this line. I'm going to execute all of them now again. Now there's a customer here, right? Customer 1006. This is a foreign key in the orders table. That customer did not buy any data, anything from me, did not make any orders. That customer you can delete. Why? Even though the foreign key is referencing the primary key, that customer has no orders, so I can delete them. So this is, you have to be very careful with that. Okay, in case if you want to delete all the records, what you can do, you have to delete it in a reverse order. First I have to delete the orders table, then I have to erase the customer data. And if you want to delete the item data, for example, you want to delete the order item data first, then you delete the item data. So that you have to kill the child first and kill the parents. Don't kill the parents because child is there, so it will not allow you to delete. Okay. What do you want? Come. Close. Close. Okay. So this is one way of you should know that what's going to happen. Now let's work for these queries. I'm going to do it in another SQL file because I don't want to spoil this codes. Okay. Now I come. This is regarding this is related to creating a database, using a database, creating a table, and inserting data. It's all area for that. So that's perfectly all right. Now I go to this slide. Let's do these queries. Obtain the list of all the customers. 3 marks. How to obtain all the customers? Simple thing, right? Select star from customer data. That's it. Obtain the list of all customers. I'm going to execute this. I get all the customers. I'm done. First is finished. Second, obtain the list of items available in the stock and their available quantities. Okay, now they're making it a bit tricky and mistakes. Obtain the list of items available in the stock. So where can I get the stocks? That's in the item data, right? So let's do. Before we do that, we will just see select star from item data. I'm going to execute that to see what are the items. So I have items here and the available quantity with the cost and description. Now let's see. Obtain the list of items available in stock and their available quantities. I don't understand this question. Obtain the list of items available. So these are the list of items available in stock. So if there is in the stock and their available quantities. obtain the list of items available in stock and the available quantity. So usually if the available quantity is greater than 0, that's items with their what? Stock and their available quantities, available in stock and their available quantities. So maybe they are asking you to specify the items like description, comma, available quantity, available quantity from item data, where available quantity, oh, it's not giving to me, available quantity greater than 0, right? Obtain the list of items available in stock. In stock means definitely it should be available quantities with 0. If the available quantity is 0, that's not in the stock, it's out of stock, right? It's available in stock and their available quantities. So list items available. I don't know whether they're asking about the item ID in this one, but this is what we are doing it here. Right, so I'm executing this line. It's giving to me that this available items and their available quantity, which is in stock. Okay. So if they don't give you any conditions which is in stock or not stock, then you should not use the where condition there. So without where condition, it will give you all the items, and all the item means description, item ID, and the available quantity. So this is done. So now number 3. Obtain the list of customers who live in Colombo district. So customer data, right? So I'm going to execute the customer data and see what's happening here, right? So I know that district is Kandy district, column name is district. In Colombo, 2 people. So when I write a query, I should get only 2 people. Right? So I'm going to copy this line and go down and paste. This is the third question where, right, district is equal to Colombo. I'm going to execute this line. I got 2 people, perfectly all right. My query is working perfectly, so that's that. And identify the first name. Okay, that's fine, right? So far, these all are simple select queries, so it's perfectly all right. Now let's go to the third one. Identify the first name, last name, customer ID, and telephone number of all customers who live in either Kandy district or Gaul district. So they want you to get these details: first name, the last name, and customer ID and telephone number. Only these 4 fields, they don't need everything. Of all customers who live in either Kandy district or Gaul district. So simply the same thing actually, but we did copy it. First condition is whoever lives in Kandy or Gaul. So where district equal to, so you don't know the spelling of Kandy, right? So just better go here and press Ctrl Enter to see all the data first. And if you want to be very sure, just copy this Kandy. So where district is equal to Kandy, or this district is equal to Gaul. I'm copying it first. Gaul. So I'm telling that give me everything, but actually I don't need everything. Star from customer data where district is equal to Kandy or district is equal to Gaul. Make sure that you are getting only Kandy and Gaul people. I'm executing this line. So I get Kandy, Gaul, Kandy. So perfectly all right. So now what I have to do now, I want to get the first name, last name, customer ID, and telephone number. So better the customer ID is the first name is in second, last name is third. But you don't do that way. Do it in the way that they ask you. First name, last name, and customer ID. So instead of star, I'm going to say first name and comma and space. It's better to put that. Last name, but that's not wrong, but better to follow that. After the comma, put a space. First name, last name, customer ID, and telephone number. Now you put cust ID, comma, telephone from this date. I'm going to execute this line. It's perfectly alright. First name, last name, customer ID, and telephone. But if you retrieve in a different order, customer ID first and first name second, it's right. But it will give them a confusion when they're correcting your answers. They will think, oh, why did this guy bring okay, it will be difficult for them. It's much better to stick answers with the questions. Identify the first name, last name, customer ID, and telephone number of all customers who live in either Kandy district or Galle district. So we get another 3 points. Now the fifth question now. List items with more than 50 items in stock. List items. So they did not tell any columns. That means all the columns. So you know that the item, select star from item data and put a semicolon and execute this line. Don't try to remember what is the column name. No, just execute that line and get the help and do the work. So where a list of items more than 50 items in stock. So very simply where a y. So you don't need to type everything, where space and a and then just wait. The IntelliSense will give you, okay, fine, available quantity greater than 50, right? List the items with more than 50, not more than or equal, more than 50. So it should be greater than, not equal. More than 50 items in stock. That's perfectly all right. So now you know that. It's roughly you estimate your answer. This is not more than, it's not more than. So 3 items should be more than. Now when I execute this line, I should get only 3 records. When I enter it, I get only 2. Wow, really? So I'm going to execute. I'm not going to delete my query. I'm selecting only this area and executing it. So this is 50. I got it. So it's perfectly all right. The 50 will not be included because the condition that we are giving is greater than 50. So when I execute the complete line, I get only 2 records, which is perfectly all right. Right, now let me take my tea. Okay. Now find the number of customers for each district. They're telling you in every district how many customers are there. This is a bit tricky, right? So where can I get these details? Can I go and get it in the customer details? Let's try. Select star from customer data and semicolon and execute. Okay, we get everything, great. And the district is there and number of people. Okay, maybe I get all the answers here. So what I want to do, anyone can help me find the number of customers for each district. Simple idea, because you have exam tomorrow, I think, right? That's why I arranged this class just to help you. If you do not answer, I have a countdown for 5 seconds. If you don't answer, I will answer. Okay. There are 40 people. That's okay. Maybe you feel shy to answer. It's okay. So what you have to do simply, you have to group it actually. Group by the district column. So I'm going to do that. So I need a district column. Yeah. Here you see that this distinct is a keyword. Distinct row is a keyword. District is column. That means column. And there are some other things. So I'm going to use the column. I'm going to choose the column district. Select district from customer data. Now, if I execute this, what will happen? It's giving me Kandy, Kurnagal, Colombo, Gold, Kandy again, and Colombo again. Now, that's not good anymore, right? Because if you ask me, give me the number of, then you're telling Kurnagal for 100 times, that's not good anymore. So you have to say here, group by, again, district. Okay, so I'm going to execute now. Ah, perfect. Kandy, Kurnagal, Colombo, and Gold. Oh, where's my count here? I lost my count. So, which will assist you? You have to write a small modifier again. Select star from a customer data. Put a semicolon. We don't need this query, but I'm just going to execute it because it's going to help me. Right. So now, last time when I execute this, I got POD. It's giving you a distinct districts. I mean, without repeating the district, it's giving to me perfectly all right. Now I go to the customers. I know that in Colombo there are 2 people, and in Kandy there is 2, Kurnagal 1 and Gold 1. Okay, so how to do that? So simply you can say that whenever you use group by, you can use a distinct, the aggregate functions. So I'm going to say count customer ID. I'm going to count the customer ID here. So I'm saying give me the district and count how many customers are there in the district and group by district. I'm going to execute now. Okay, I got it. Kandi, 2 people, Kalambu 2, Kalukunagal 1 and Goal 1 is perfectly fine. But what happened now here? The column name is not nice. It's not looks good, right? So simply you can say for that one as number of customers. I'm going to execute now. So I get the one output, which is the district column with a count the customer ID as number of customers. That means I'm giving a new name for the column saying number of customer ID, and then I execute this. One second, please. Because I asked something from my friend and he called me, said, "Let me come now to Panandura," but okay, so I sent a message to him that I will be coming a bit later. So this is the thing, district and then count number of column. This is not necessary to display. Even without this, your query is perfectly all right and they will give you marks. In case if they feel to just deduct something from you, they might tell you why you did not put a name. That could be something nice. In that case, you better put this as well. So I'm going to execute now. It's a perfect output. District name and number of customers and this. In addition to that, I always write the query in this way, like this. Select and the column and other things in one line, and from table is another line, and group by is another line. Because it's very easy if you have a long query like this, for example. This one you cannot see what is after that, right? So better to break your queries, something like this. But if it is very small queries, don't break it because it's making a lot of lines. And this one, this query, it's okay, it's reasonable to break that and where conditions here. And if you want, you can just give every line space after a query, so it's easy to for you to pick. Okay. Uh, yeah, and then this. Okay. Now, so we cannot expect this only the questions, right? Later on, they will tell you, okay, give me all the districts, number of customers of the districts, order the district names by alphabet. In that case, you have to include also something called order by, and then district column again. So in that case, what will happen when I execute C A B C D E F G H I J K, and it is ordered on the alphabet order. Or sometimes they will give us in the descending order. In that case, you have to say disk. So you are explicitly saying that order it, but in a descending order. So I'm just executing it. So the Kurna Garf is coming first, Candy, Gold, and Color. Okay, just keep in mind. Maybe I'm just going to comment this line because some people will think, why did you do that? The question is not asking for it, but this is an addition because we are not only targeting this paper. I'm just targeting a possible ways that they might ask you. Okay, find the number of customers for each district. That's done. So now the selling price of an item is the cost of an item plus 28%. So now they come to the selling part. They're telling that we are going to sell it. The margin is 28%. The item that you purchase with the 28%. So now list the item name, item number, and selling price for all the items. So where can I get the items? The items in the item data. So select star on my lights. Select star from item data. As I told you initially, don't try to write your query immediately. Just see the data first. Okay, the item data has item number, description, available quantity, and cost. Now, what they're asking, the selling price of an item, of course, it will be 28%. List the item name, item number, and selling price, nothing else. So you have to be very sure about the column that they're asking. Okay. and the selling price for all items. For every item, 28% they need a margin from this price. So how can we get the margin, the selling price? First thing, if they ask you all the columns, you can simply put star and then put comma. So when you say star, that will be saying that item number, description, available quantity, and the cost, and comma, the column that you want. For example, if I want some column called hello as name, my name, for example, my name from item data. I'm executing it. Perfect. It's giving all the columns on that table plus hello, hello, hello for everything. So this is how I introduce a new column which is not available on this table. Now, I'm not going to do this one. I'm going to do some computations. How will you do that? They're asking the selling price. What is the selling price? The cost price plus 28% margin. So simply you can say cost multiplied by 1.28 times. Am I right? I believe that's right. So I'm going to one time, that means the same cost. If I buy for 100 rupees and the cost is 1.28 times, that will be 128 rupees. That should be the cost, right? So I'm going to do this one. I will tell you why I use this way. There's another way to there are many ways to compute that. So I'm going to we call it selling price as selling underscore price, and then I'm going to execute it. Oh, great. See, I have 100 rupees, which is cost, and I got it 128. I got 80 rupees, and I got this one, this one, this one. So if you see 100 rupees comes 128, that's perfectly all right. You don't need to recompute for anything. And the 200 rupees has become 256. That's perfectly okay. Some people will try to do something like this. Maybe they say the cost. Sometimes they might do it simply like cost plus and cost multiplied by 28, right? This is generally everyone do that. 28 over 100. What I'm doing now? Okay. Yes, this one as selling price. Let me check this. Executing. Oh, that's also correct. But I don't recommend this way. The reason is sometimes when the cost is zero, right? Zero multiplied by numbers and dividing something, that's okay. In that case, it's also okay. Yes, maybe I misunderstood that. In case if there is a possibility that there will be a zero divisible by zero, that will be a problem. So, and anyhow, here you're doing multiple calculations like cost plus, and this is your margin. You're computing your margin, everything. It's much better to do it in one shot. 28% margin, the cost multiplied by 1.28 times, which is 28% already. Cost plus margin. In case if they ask you, give me only the margin, right? They say, okay, give me the selling price, and then the profit as a separate column. So you can simply say cost multiplied by 0.28. That will be as margin. Okay, so bring the from the next line, and then you can say like this. So this is one way of doing it. I mean, if they ask you only the margin, how much you will get it, then execute it. So the margins are here 320 and 256. This is a selling price. And if you sell this one, how much the profit you will get? 320 minus 250, that is 70 rupees. And this is 56.000001 because it's computing. There are some fractional points here, but never mind about it. Just leave it as it is. So I'm telling you why I'm telling you. In addition to that, if they ask you, try to do this way. It is easy. On execution, we'll get the answers here. Instead of cost plus cost multiplied by 0.28 and there are so many arithmetic calculations that you're doing it. Here, simple, only one calculation that you're doing it. So I don't need this. Just will simply close the matter and executing this. But here, make sure that they ask you, they did not ask you all the columns. They ask you item name, item number, and selling price. Only this column. So selling price we completed already. So item name, which is description, comma, item number. That's it. So execute it and make sure that list the item name, item number and selling price for all item. So make sure that, so we completed also that. Now let's go to the what do you call that, 8.1. List the order ID, order dates, and item count of all orders that had more than or equal to 3 items. Oh, that's really let me see. Okay. So now list the order. List the order ID, order date, and item count of all the orders. Okay. Now when they talk about the orders, we have two columns, two tables actually, right? We have table called orders. The other one is an order item. So to be familiar with that, as I told you always, select star from orders. Okay, and then this is one way of doing it, and the other one is select star from order item data. Order item data, because order is a master table, order item is a subtable, because if you make an order, you might add 3 items or 2 items or 1 item. So if they want to add everything to the order table, there will be redundant data. That's why they make it into 2 tables. Now I'm executing this order table. Order table contains order ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I go back to the order item data and I'm executing this. I get order, it's mixed up actually. So let me order by the order ID on this table to identify, to get the answers. 1 second, please. Okay, to get a rough idea if the data are mixed up, you cannot see it actually, so better to order it first by order ID, order by order underscore ID, then execute it now. So order number 1 has 2 items, order number 2 has 2 items, 3 has 1 item, and 4 and 5 and 6, so they are all okay. Only order 1 and 2, there are 2 items. So we get roughly some idea that whenever we do something, we know that 1 and 2 has 2 items. Okay, fine. So what is the question now again? List the order ID, order date, and item count of all orders that had more than or equal to 3 items. This is really, it's giving a tough time for me as well. So select star from orders. I have to get the data from the order table because they're asking you order ID and order date and an item count. How many items are there in the orders? Okay, order ID, order date, and the item count of all orders that had more than or equal to 3 items. They are saying that in any order, if we have a 3 or more than items in the order, they need that list. So definitely there will be no output here, right? According to the order ID here, number 1 has 2 records, number 2 has 2 records, number 3 has 1, number 4 has 1, 5 and 6, all of them 1. So let's make sure that our data, whether we insert it in the proper way, order 1 has 1 and 2, so okay, no. 2 1 time and 2 times, okay, and then 3 1 time, 4 1 time, and 5 1 time, and 6 1 time. So we inserted the record perfectly. There's no problem at all. Okay, before that, we will not, when we write a query, we will not get any hits, we will not get any records, right? So don't just depend, don't write the query and go. Why? Who knows that whether you entered the wrong query? So better don't put any limits, just write the query first. So I'm going to say, I'm going to get the order ID and the order date. Order ID, comma, order date, right? Then now I need the count of the orders. Okay, I will be doing later from orders. So let me, is it a quantity? Count of all the orders that had more than or equal to 3 items. They are talking about the 3 items. They're not talking about the number of quantities. Quantity order. What is this? Am I watching this now? So maybe, one second. Maybe, what does it mean? Order that had more than or equal to 3 items. But actually in this order, only 2 items are there. In this order, 2 items. But there are 3 quantities. I don't know whether they mean this or they mean this, but according to this question, I believe that only 2 items, not more than 2 items. What do you think, guys? Anyone has an idea? Because you say here they say order date and the item count of all the orders that had more than or equal to 3 items. They're not talking about the quantity, 3 items. This is one item with the 2 quantity. This is the second item with 1 quantity, but they have 3 quantities, but in that order they have only 2 items. Okay, anyhow, we will be trying to figure it out. So now order ID and order date, I'm going to execute this. I get all the order ID and order date without the conditions. Now how to get the total number of item, we have it in the order item data. This is the thing. So I have to use the count actually here. Count what? For example, total items. Let's say let's put a 0 here. So it will give you total items. What is this? We cannot say count 0 actually. In aggregate query, the group by. Where is that? I did not put the group by here. Yeah, because when I use aggregate function, you have to use the group by clause. I did not use the group by clause here. So how can we solve this now? I have to get the count from here. So let's try to do something here. Let's do count here. We call it a count item number from order main data, and I don't need order by ID. I'm going to say group by order ID. Let's try this. What is going to give us? I'm trying to get select count item number from order item data group by order ID. I'm going to execute this. So it's giving to me a number of items in every order. Maybe here we have to put also, what do you call that, order ID as well, to see which order has how many times, right? So I'm going to execute this. And the order number 1, 2 items. Order number 2, I got the answer somehow, intermediate answer. Now I have to combine this and that with this table, right? Because here we will remove this. We will remove this because for the meantime. So I'm going to comment this line. That area will be commented. So I'm taking select order ID order date from orders table, and I have 2 queries. Actually, I need to combine these 2. If I combine these 2, I get the answers, right? I have an order ID, the distinct order ID with the date, and here I have order and the count. So how can I join these 2? Any idea? Can I use
If we put inside the second statement order date inside of the
what do you
second,
mind like this? Just cut it and then put it here instead of count. You mean like this?
yeah, the code.
It's okay? Let me try. I do not know also. No,
I also don't know,
yeah,
just
it's wrong. It's wrong. That's not the way to do that. Okay. So what you can do simply here, you can do an inner joint because this is 2 different tables, right? This one, I'm going to erase this one. So now I'm going to say inner join. Did they teach us this one? Inner join. I'm going to join this table to this result in a joint, and then order ID I have it here. Now I'm going to get the count of this. Control X. Now there is a small issue, a group by this, and let me try executing this. I'm executing it. There's a problem here saying that column order ID in field is ambiguous, because the order ID column is already available in the orders table. At the same time, it's available in the order item data table as well. So in that case, you have to clearly tell that this order ID come from where. So I'm telling that this order ID should come from orders table. So I'm going to say orders dot order ID. And order date is not ambiguous. This order date is only available in the orders table, not anywhere else. So I don't need to tell that. If you want to tell, no problem with that. So I'm saying orders.order ID and orders.order date, comma, count of item number. In this case, if you want to be very clear, copy this. If you don't want to have a trouble. So this item number coming from where? Coming from the order item data. From this table in that table. And order ID coming from where? From orders. Now, if you want to join two tables, you have to tell that join by what? How do they know that join by what? So on orders dot order ID equal order item data dot order ID. This is the one. It's joining two tables with this condition. I'm saying that compare the order ID and order ID, please, and then get the order ID from the main table and the date, and count the number of items available on the order item data group by order. So let me execute it. Oh, I got it. So this is how you have to do an inner join. This is very important thing for you to do that. Very simple. Initially, you write this condition, select order ID, order date from orders. And please specify the table name here, orders.order ID, comma, orders.order date. And you don't need to worry about this for the meantime. And inner join or left outer join, but just make it inner join simple for you for the meantime. Inner join, I'm joining the order item data table. Then you have to tell the condition. If I tell join what? Join based on what? Based on the order ID on the order data, order table, and order ID in the order item data table. So they are comparing, the table will compare the order ID from the order table. So it's equalizing order number one, number one, number one, number one, number two, like this. And then I have to use a group by because I need the aggregation function. If you need aggregation function, you should group it. So if you group it only, you can create aggregation function called count, sum, max, average, so many things. So this is required. So we know that we calculated manually. Order ID 2 has 2 items. Order ID 2 again 2 items. The other all of them one item. So our query is perfectly all right. Always verify your query answers with the manual computation by your mind. That's very important. Now, this is not the answer actually. It's not complete. The answer says, just give me 5 seconds. There's some call for prayer. I was continuously talking. Okay, so the list the order ID, order date, and item count of all the orders that had more than or equal to 3 items. Now, if the item is 1, I don't care. 2, I don't care. 3, okay, I care. Right? 3 or more than 3, you have to display that. So how can I put the where condition? Because if you want to put a where condition, you have to put a where condition on the straightforward columns. I mean, order ID without computing, without aggregating values. So if you want to put a conditions on aggregate value like this count, maximum, minimum, you have to write something called having clause. Okay, this is you have to do it like having, then again I have to do the same thing here, count greater than equal to 3. That's all. So when I execute it now, I get nothing because I don't have any item which has more than 2 items. So now if I make it 2, I'm making condition 2, so I get only 2 items. Order 1 and order 2 has 2 items, I get 2. Perfectly all right. So don't just rely on your query. If they ask you 3, go and down, make it 1 less and make it 2 and get some answers. That answer should be accurate. So I make it to 2 and my answer is perfectly all right. Now you change back to 3 and save your query. You got it? I didn't save this one. Oh my God. Okay, so what is the name that I have to use? My lab test for query 2. Okay, I forget to save it all the way, right? In case of power failures or something happen to your PC, but something you cannot do anything like Microsoft Windows, we cannot rely always. So better to save it. I forget to save it, by the way. Right. So this is a heavy query. Actually, they gave it to you. They want you to be familiar with this one because we all are developers. We have to be very careful with our queries. So we have to learn and just do some practices on this. Okay. Now list the order ID, and that's fine. Actually, they give 3 marks, but they should give at least 15 marks for this. This is not the normal query that everyone can write. Okay, so the 3 is working fine. In case if you make it 1, what will happen, brothers? If we make it 1, it will give you almost everything because everything has 1 or 2 or everything is there. So more than 2 is fine. The 3, the query, the questions is 3. So I make it 3. Now delete the customers who did not place any orders after this date. So they're asking us to delete all the customers who did not place any order after 1/1/2021. It should be, our question should be 2022, 2021. Okay. So how do I know that any customers who did not write, who did not make any orders after this date? Right? So I can get the answers from customer tables. I'm going to see the customer table now. Select star from customers, customer data. Just take it as a raw data first and make sure. Okay, I run, and then how do I filter the date? I cannot filter the date, right? Because they say order after this date. So where is that date from? The date from orders table, maybe. Okay, so just open the order date as well from orders, and let me execute that as well. In orders dates, I have a okay, great. So I don't need customer table actually. In the orders date itself, I have a customer ID and order date. So how to filter whether they order or something after this date? Delete all the customers who did not place any orders after this date. So in the orders table, where right order date after that means greater than this date. Single quote. Why always? And also don't forget that the year should be first, 2021, and -01. Okay, they give you in the questions in a different way, right? Like GTMM Y. So you have to convert it back to year first and month and second. So now let me make sure that it's giving some answers here. Okay, there it's giving me customer ID 1, 3, and 4, 5. Again, go back to the question. Delete the customers who did not place any order after 1/1/2003. And so who did not place? So we have to change this to less than equal. Or how to do that? They did not place any order. If I say greater than to this date, that means it's giving me all the customers that they make orders after this date. Now I don't want order dates, maybe not greater than. I have no idea. Let me try also because that's wrong, because I never used this query. This is a simple query, but I am also having a difficulty on this. Delete the customers who did not place any order. Actually, we have to find out the customers who did not make any orders. So here it's giving you greater than this one. This is giving you all the customers who placed the order after this date. Okay. So now I'm going to get only the customer ID because I care about the customer ID only. So I'm taking this query is giving to me now all the customers who has order after this date. Now I have to say who did not do orders, right? Now I'm going to say where in the customer data, I'm saying where cust ID not in. Okay, maybe this query is a bit heavy, but I don't know why they gave it to you. not in, I'm going to put a bracket and do this. This is the way. So what is giving to you? First is very simple. Select star from customers. It's giving you all the customers where customer ID not in. Select customer ID from orders where orders. So in this query is giving you all the customers who has order after this date. Then here in this query I'm saying that not this ID, the other ID. So I'm saying where customer ID not in this list. So here all the people has the order. Now if I say not in, that means the people who doesn't have orders. This is how you have to feed. So let's see now who doesn't have an order after this date. I'm going to execute. I'm going to execute this. And two people has no order after this date. One is 1006. One is 1006. Of course, I know that 106006, this guy, he didn't make any order since before, right? So let me make sure that. Select star from orders. Okay, I'm going to execute this line. And I don't find 1006. So that answer is perfectly all right. This guy, you don't have any order since before. Okay. Now I get one more answer. Let me make sure that 1002. Oh, 1002, he has order actually. 1002, he has an order, but when was the order? Okay, December 30. Of course, after 2022, sorry, 21, he don't have an order. The last order that he make on 2020, December 30. So I have to erase this guy. Okay. And there's one more guy, 1001. He also make an order in 2020, but why is not showing me here? Because when you go down, he make another order 2021 February 1. That is beyond this line. So this guy, I don't need to delete this guy. And then other people, all of them are 2021. So perfectly, my answer is giving me a perfect thing. I'm getting a proper answers to delete these two customers. Now, how can I delete these two customers? Okay, 1006, I can delete it immediately because you don't have any order. It's very simple. I just throw him out immediately. No problem with that. But the problem is I have no idea what data will come to me, what customer ID I'm going to delete, because I'm going to write it by the query, right? The query will do it. I don't care about 1006 or 1008. So now the problem is the 1002, he has orders. We cannot delete this data immediately because the foreign key constraint will stop us, right? He has orders 1002. He has an order here. I cannot erase him at all. So how can I do that? Idea. I'm asking your idea actually. It will help you actually if you try to answer. It will help you in your exam. It's not for me. I know that things what's going on, and I'm a Microsoft certified database administrator. So I'm just not only for the showing off. I'm telling you that try to speak because we are already in the last line. How can I do that? I already told you in the beginning of the tutorial that if you want to delete, which is a foreign key constraint, because you cannot erase immediately that customer because he has an order. So what you have to do simply, you have to kill the order first. You have to delete the order for that guy first, and then you have to come and delete the customer data. So here they say delete the customers who did not place any order after this date. So simply you have to delete all the orders first. So here I'm going to put a condition here saying that or this way. Delete the order first and then delete the customer data. Okay, that's very important. You have to know that you are deleting the first. So I'm going to say now, this is a big query. I don't know practices they gave it to us is not enough. But anyhow, it's okay. So I'm going to say delete from orders, order table, okay, where customer underscore ID in, and again here, cust ID, I don't know. Cust ID. Now I'm going to say like delete staff from orders where cust ID, or you can simply or you can use two commands, another simple commands if you want. You can simply do that. Delete from orders where what do you call that? The order date. That's no orders actually, right? No orders after this date, but you cannot do this one. I have to. I don't know. I have to do this way. Where customer ID in, and again this line I have to wrap it with the bracket. I don't know how you're going to do this. So there are three queries inside. First query, I'm taking all the customers who has an order after this date, and I'm telling after that I have another select query which is giving me the customer ID which is not in that. So the people who has no orders will come here. Now after that I'm giving a delete order, delete star from orders where customer ID in this ID, those two IDs. I think 100. I think I remember that. This is like this. 2 and 6 will be deleted here. This is the first line. The second line I have to delete one more thing. Delete from customer data where cust ID, and you have to put the same query here. So you have to do it in two steps. First you have to delete from the child table. Then after that you have to come and delete from the customer data. So let's try actually. I'm going to select it and execute that. So how many records are, you can't specify a target table orders. Okay, because here orders and all that, there are a bit complications here. Okay, right. So let's try this way. To try to delete the customer data directly without deleting the orders, we will see execute, and it's giving you can't spell the same thing actually. Yeah, so this way it won't work. We have to do some different way. Okay. Okay, let me switch it to a different method now here. I will try also. Simply delete from there is another way, but I'm not sure that that will be okay. Like for example, we can delete all the orders after this date. Like delete from orders where orders equal to less than or equal. So I'm going to delete all the records first. This is simple query actually, but I do not know whether it will work. After that, you delete all the customer data like this one. So actually still two conditions. So it will be like two conditions here. First, I'm deleting all the orders where orders less than equal to 2021 because I don't need that. I want to delete the data first. I'm deleting all the orders, but this is not really a better way. So if I delete the orders, all the orders less than this will be deleted. And then after that, I'm deleting from customer data where customer ID not in. You don't need to here. You don't need to specify anything. Not in order. So now I deleted all the orders less than this date. After that, I'm deleting all the customer ID, which customer ID not in the orders. So it will be deleting. This one for sure it will work. So I'm going to delete it now. Let's see. I'm entering again. But you are using a safe update mode that you try to update the table without the where clause. I have a where clause here. I have a where clause here. Why is that allowing me to? So it's saying that okay, column disable save mode, toggle options preferences. You have to go and toggle the options here because the ID is blocking me. But still same mode, and you try to update the table without a where clause. Actually, I have a where clause here, right? This is my where clause. Delete from orders where order date is equal. Let me put the console and enter. It's still the same. They are telling me to toggle this option. Otherwise, you can delete it here. You have to go to the options, toggle the options in the preferences in SQL editor, and reconnect. You have to reconnect it actually. Tools. No. That is the option. Toggle the option in preferences. That is preferences. Guys, you see preferences here? Configuration, utilities, scripting. We are using a safe update mode that you try to update the table without where clause. Actually, I have a where clause here. It's not what they're saying is wrong actually. Delete from orders where order date less than equal to this date. They're telling me that I'm executing it without the where clause, but I have a where clause over here. To disable the save mode, toggle the option in preferences. I do not know this where to enable these options. Options maybe options. If I do it only this one, that's okay. The message is perfectly all right. Errors, you are saving mode without the where clause. But here I'm executing it with the where clause. Delete from customer data where customer ID. Yes, brother. But that method, Jessica Silva, delete from customer data where customer ID not in. Select distinct customer ID from orders. Where anyhow, if you want to say distinct, you can say group by where order date. Yeah, but the problem is you cannot delete the customers while he has the order. So you have to delete the order first. Okay, let me execute your method. I'm going to copy this method. Yajika suggests this method actually. This is okay. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that's wrong. Delete from customer data where customer ID not in. Select distinct. In case if you want distinct, it's okay. Otherwise, you can say group by customer ID. That's also okay. Where order. So the first is saying that bring the customer ID where order date greater than this one, and that is not in. This is the query that I wrote first initially. I'm going to select this and execute. See the same problem here. You are using a safe update mode that you are trying to update the table without the where clause. I do not know why this MySQL. But this case, brother, what I'm trying to tell you, in this case, you cannot delete the customer data because we know that 1001 and 1006 should be deleted. In that case, 1006 will be deleted easily without anything because he has no orders. The other one, you cannot delete it while the foreign key is connecting. So you have to delete the orders first. Then you have to delete the customers. So this query is perfectly all right after you delete the order. Okay. Yes, Ejika, tell me. What's that?
Brother, if we put instead of customer data, if we put orders, it's it.
No, that's why I put the order, but they are saying that we put the order here and order here, so it's not accepting as well. So that's the same thing now. If you want to put orders here, you can simply put it here. This one, delete from orders, where order date less than equal. I'm deleting all the orders, which is less than equal to this date. So I don't care about this date. I'm deleting it. After that, I'm deleting the customer where customer ID not in. Select customer ID from the orders. let's try what's happening here. It's not even allowing me to delete anything. When I delete it, let me try deleting straight with the customer ID. Okay, I'm going to cast from some data where customer ID is equal to. We will delete the simple guy, the first one, just 1006, because you don't have any connection. You don't have any order. So let me delete this one. I'm deleting it. That's perfectly deleted. You see that? Because you don't have any connection. Now, who is the other guy? Let me execute this one so I can get the other guy. Not in. Instead of saying, we'll say select. Execute that. So the other guy is 1002. Need to be deleted. But when I say 1002, right, I'm going to execute that. It cannot delete because cannot delete update parent row while the order is still existing. He has an order, right? In the 1002 guy, he has an order. So we cannot erase him. We have to delete the orders first. That's what I'm trying to do from here, where the order less than equal to this date. And I'm trying to delete it. It's not allowing me to delete it. But anyhow, this is the restrictions. I do not know where to enable this. You are trying to use the safe update mode. And then you have to enable it. Where is that? To disable safe mode, toggle the options in preferences. Where is the preferences? If we find that option, that will be enough for us. File, edit, preferences here. Okay, preferences, and then what they said, toggle the option in preferences. Let me proceed. Come on. Let me execute it and get the result. Okay, now go to the toggle and option preference SQL editor and reconnect. So you go to the SQL editor in the edit preferences and then SQL editor. Where is that? SQL editor, and then here safe update. This one, reject updates and delete with no restriction. Remove this option and okay. But now they say it has to reconnect. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to erase this data, brother. I'm going to, or I'll keep it here. Fine. We will also do a test here. Fine. So I'm going to save it now and I'm going to reconnect that. So I'm going to close it now and go to my SQL again and open. And my queries are come back already. And now I'm going to execute this line. Execute it. Table employee orders does not exist. Okay, because I did not use the database. Okay. Why? Customer mark. So I have to double click it at least to enable that, to use the database and run it now. Error, cannot delete or update parent row. Cannot delete update parent row, foreign key constraint, customer mark, order item ID constraint, order item data. Whoa. So there is another table which is order item ID. You remember that? I also forget it. Here, sorry, not this table, this one. There is order item ID. So whenever you want to erase the order, you have to also erase the order item data first, then erase the order second, and you erase the customer data at last. So, okay, so before that, I'm going to say delete from order item data where order ID in and this query. This is crazy actually. So I'm going to put it in the other line. So select order ID from orders where date less than equal to, or where order ID you can say either you want to put a greater than and then not it. So this is first step. You're erasing it from the order item. You're erasing first order item data first, and where order ID not in. So it's giving you all the order ID after this date and not in that order. So the rest of orders will erase. I'm going to erase it now, executing it. So it's erased. 4 records are affected. After that, I have to erase the order, delete from orders where order date less than equal to this order. I'm going to erase it down. So that is success also. After that, I'm going to delete the customers where customer ID not in, select cust ID from the orders. So I'm taking all the customer ID from the orders, and if that ID is not in the order, I'm erasing all the customers here. I'm executing now, and that is also executed. Okay, and this way of Yajika, this is already okay actually. This is fine, but you are trying to erase the master table. Now it will work fine because see, you cannot have errors because there are some issues, server versions, right, and syntax, something wrong, and yeah, there's no time to run after this. So you have to issue 3 commands. Actually, I thought that in the beginning it's 2, and I forget the order item. So deleting records in the deleting records. Okay, you have to delete the foreign key first, and the second foreign key, and then you have to delete this way. Right. Fine. Finally, the last thing that we do now, update the cost of all milk powders by ₹30, 3 marks. All the milk products by 30. So that's in the item list. Select star from product, right? What is this? Item data, and execute that. So I'm getting all the items, okay, and all the milk products. How to find the milk product? What are the milk product actually? Soap, biscuit, bottled water, wheat flour, and milk products. So this is a milk product, right? Update the cost of all milk products by ₹30. Is there any other thing milk products? This is only milk products. So how to get the milk products only? Where, right? Where description, where description is equal to milk powder. Copy the milk powder instead of typing it because you might make a mistake first. Copy it and then execute it first. So you get only the milk powder. Now they are telling you to update the cost of milk product by 30 rupees. So you have to increase 30 rupees. So you don't care, don't put something like this. For example, updates item data and then set cost is equal to 250 plus 30 and 280. No, that's wrong, because in the future, in case if you have a different milk product or something like this, it will be a big problem for you. So you have to say that cost is equal to cost plus 30. Okay, so you are setting like this: update item data, set cost is equal to existing cost plus 30. So I'm increasing the cost by 30, where description is equal to milk products. So I'm going to execute now, and it's executed. See, 1 rows return actually. The condition executed, but it went to down. I save it now, and I'm going to open all the item again to see whether this actually it was like I want 250, right? Now it's become should be 280. Only the milk product. So I'm going to say select star from item data, and I'm going to execute this. And when you see the milk product is 280. So originally it was 250, and I change it to 280. Right, let us execute it one more time. Now the current price is 280. When I execute that, then when I go and say select star from item data, now it's 300. Only the milk product is 300. Now what will happen if they ask you all the descriptions, first character starting from B, increase the price to 2, double. In that case, what you have to do? Simply the same query, right? Item data, increase the cost by 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2, where condition is where description like And let's say starting with B, so B, and then this mark, I believe so. So now only the item starting with the B, and it doesn't matter how many characters after that. I'm checking all the prices multiplied, or I'm increasing the price by 1,000 to see easily, or 10,000. Okay, I'm selecting off this one and executing it. Okay, seems to be executed. I'm running now, and you see the prices here. The bottle water is 20,100, and biscuit is 20,800. Maybe it's updated twice. Why is 20,000 suddenly? It should be. Let me execute one more time. So 10,000, that should be 30,000 something. I'm executing this, and then executing this one. Okay, 30,000. That's fine. So you should remember that not only always you go for the equal sign, and also try a like keyword where like is equal to this one. You put the conditions. For example, I don't find OD, OT, OA, OU. Okay, I don't find any other combinations. My airport lost connections actually. Okay, so this is all what we learned today, and then the delete is the one only headache. So better you make sure that go to the edit and preferences, because if you want to test your code, better to be very clear with that. So execute editor and go to the last and remove this option. Otherwise, it will not allow you to delete, and you will be confused when you are doing your exercise. So create this one, and unnecessary codes, just put it in the comment area or erase it if you do not want it. Okay, so I don't need this one. I'm just keeping it here because it will help you in case if you want to find out what's going on here with the like keywords and other things. So other than that, we have a plain straightforward answers here. Okay, only in deleting area we got some confusions. But I'm good at this one also. I'm keeping it here order by string and district description in case if you want to order it. Ascending, you know that very well. If you want ascending, very simply you say order by and then without the keyword. If you want descending, then you want to put that. But in case if you want to say ascending also, ASC, it's also possible to but it's not necessary, right? Because if you don't put anything, is by default it's ascending. So that's it. In case if you have some questions, please ask within 2-3 minutes and let me move. I'll be uploading this video to the YouTube.
Well, we need to upload the screenshots only, no? Not the software, not the application, no?
No, I don't know. Maybe they will be asking the script sometime. They might asking you the script, and then I don't know if it is screenshot how they will verify it. They will be definitely asking you this script to be uploaded to the drive, to the test drive. I believe so.